I made a video about this before, but I figured I'd just sort of go into it a little bit because, like, you'll see. Like, this is a rant, but just bear with me here. I'm gonna start off by saying the movie Catwoman, starring Halle Berry, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie because because like before I saw it, I was hearing about how terrible it was and how it wasn't a good movie and how like awful and bad and everything. Like I remember hearing so much stuff about the movie before I ever actually saw it that I expected it to not be that great at all. And then I actually saw the movie and it surprised me as to how okay it was. It wasn't great, but like I feel like the only mistake that Catwoman made, the biggest mistake that Catwoman made was that like it made was the title. Because had you have named it a different name, it probably wouldn't have gotten as much flack. Because when people think of Catwoman, they think of the character from DC. They don't think of the character. They don't think of this woman. They think of Selena Kyle. Not, I think her name was Patty something. Paula began with a P. But the fact of the matter is that like I liked the movie. I saw it like maybe twice, but the reason why I like this movie is like because for all of its bad moments that it had, and it did have a few bad moments, I like the idea of a woman who named a character being called Catwoman, who is a woman who has the powers of a cat. Does she? I don't like. Was she a cat burglar? I'm not sure. But the fact of the matter is that like I thoroughly do enjoy that concept because when I first heard the name Catwoman years before I saw this movie, I thought, does she at least transform into a cat? No, she's just a cat burglar who likes cats, but isn't a cat herself, or isn't a cat that turned into a human being, or has the powers of a cat, or nothing like that. So it's just like it really kind of made me feel. It really kind of like it was a breath of fresh air to kind of see. It's kind of like to see that. So I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And fans will tell me all the time, it's the worst movie ever. It was terrible. Why do you like it so much? And the thing is, I want to just go ahead and take this time to point out real quick that no fan could get me to dislike something just because they do. And that's kind of like being a recurring theme in fandom. I'm gonna just like, and I'm steering off here for a little bit because I want to talk about fandoms real quick because like like there's this annoying thing that fans love to do where they say actually no, it's those types of fans, and it's like, oh, actually no, it's the Star Wars fans. Well, at least we're better than those types of fans. At least we're better than the One Piece fans. At least we're better than no. All fandom is the same. You're all part of the same universe. As long as there's a group of people who share an interest in something, you're all part of the same thing. That's why I call it the fiction fandom. I don't call it the Star Wars fandom and the One Piece fandom and the My Hero Academia fandom and anime fandom and all this. No, I call it all the fiction fandom. Because for every good part of fiction fandom that they have, there's always the bad part. And every fandom has that bad part. Every fandom has those hypercritical low creative cats who just completely somehow manage to just completely like invade their fandom and just become a part of it. So it's like you can't even enjoy the thing you can't even enjoy the thing that you claim to enjoy because there's always going to be somebody, or at least 18 people, like, I don't like it because of this, I don't like it because of that could have been better, this could have been better. My guy, do you like the thing or not? Like, I'm not saying that you have to like I'm not saying you have to enjoy everything about the product, but if all you can say is bad stuff about it, then why are you here? We're here because we like this thing. You know what I'm saying? For all of its shortcomings, there's still something enjoyable about the thing. You're just coming up in here just to reminding everybody that you don't like the thing and trying to get everybody to like. I feel like when fans do that, they don't like the thing. They just want people to be fans of them, and that's annoying to me. It's like don't bring the attention to yourself in spite of the thing that people are already bringing their attention to. If you don't like something, by all means, not like it. But at the very least, let other people like it. And I'm guilty of this, honestly. That's the reason why I'm talking about this so much, because of the fact that there's people who like fictional fights and they devote a lot of time, energy, and focus into the fictional fights. And I like stories. I like plots. I like stories. I like plots. I like being able to sort of like I like to be able to overthink something a little bit. I like to be able to sort of scratch the surface a little bit, just sort of dig deeper into it, because there's always a deeper meaning when it comes to anything fictional. It's never just pretty lights, big boobs, loud sounds, and cool fights. No, it's more than that. Dragon Ball Z was a reference to Sun Wukong. where it was basically Japanese Sun Wukong. You know what I mean? And nobody wants to talk about, like, there's so many people who claim to be a Dragon Ball Z fan, or people who like Goku, or people who love talking about Goku, who did not say anything when Sun Wukong came out with the video game, like, what, a year and a half ago. And the reason why I'm talking about fandom is because of the fact that in the case of this movie, in the case of the Catwoman movie, DC fans will tell me that it's the worst movie ever made. It's terrible. Oh my god! It's like, I saw it. It wasn't that bad. I don't think it was that bad, and I will watch it again. One of the few reasons why I love this movie is because of Halle Berry. Because at the time, Halle Berry, like, I remember growing up, and there was this whole thing. There was this big push towards Halle Berry, like, being the it girl, and she was like the new hot chick on the block, and everybody had to focus on her just because she was hot, right? And then she would do movies. She would go on to, like, become an actress, and you would be like, and the whole thing was is that, like, oh, she's the hot actress. You know what I mean? So it's like she could have easily just, like, coasted off of that actress career and just been random hot chick number 4 in every movie that she's in. And instead, she said that she became an action movie star instead. Do you have any idea how challenging that is to be a black woman and do action movies? That, in my opinion, is like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just wild to me to just be a black woman who does action movies, and she still does action movies now. Like, that, in my opinion, is just something to really just take into consideration, at least for me anyway. That in itself, like, just made me have, like, Catwoman made me respect Halle Berry just that much more as an actress, because she could have coasted. She could have coasted off of her looks. And instead she said, nah, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do movies where I run and fight. And it's like, yes, that's a win. I don't care. I don't care how you chip it, that's a win. And no fan could tell me that is a loss. No fan could tell me, well, actually, no, it was a terrible movie because the main. I don't care. I don't care. You can't. And it's like, my whole thing is that, like, with fans, some of these fans are like, some fans in some fandoms, some fans in fiction fandoms are bigoted. Some of them are racist. Some of them are sexist. Some of them, like, they don't necessarily care about plot or story or overthinking anything. They're just like, like, oh no, we just want to see two people fight each other and that's it. Or I just want to see something blow up. You know what I'm saying? If there was a TV series, if there was an animated TV series with absolutely no physical confrontation involved, they would literally go crazy off of the one instance where somebody might slap another person. Now, like, if there was a series dedicated to just like dialogue, you know what I'm saying? The meanest thing that somebody would say would be the thing that everybody would, like, lose their mind about. And it's like, they would, in other words, they would ignore all the rest of the dialogue just so they could say, yeah, but when he said this, oh, you got dissed. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's really kind of hard to appreciate fiction knowing that there's fandom out there that's willing to just completely take away your light and your joy. And that's who you have to deal with. The people who are heavily critical, who don't care about plot, who don't care about story, who don't care about the message, who are right-wing as hell, which is just weird to me. Because you got to really think it, like, right now, there's this whole thing going on with X-Men. X-Men just recently announced that they were, like, bringing back or sort of, like, just continuing the 90s series. And there's people out there that are just like, X-Men has gotten too woke. Like, first off, every comic book series has been talking about, like, if you think that oppressing people just because you don't like them is, like, okay, you're the bad guy. If you think that people deserve to suffer because of who they are rather than what they do, you're the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, Captain America punched the bad guy from World War II. Not just Captain America, but I think Superman did it too. I want to say everybody at some point has either beaten up the bad guys from World War II or the bad guys from the Civil War. And at some point, like, Superman, there's literally a series called Superman Fights the Klan. Like, at some point, you really got to take into consideration that it's like, if this upsets you, you're the bad guy. It doesn't make any sense. So that's the part that's really just sort of, like, upsetting me a little bit here. It's just that, like, fandoms First off, I feel like we tend to I feel like we kind of like sort of made fandom synonymous with nerd, and I don't think that that's right because of the fact that like there's fandoms and then there's nerds. Like if you partake in fiction and it doesn't motivate you to do anything, I feel like you're kind of watching it incorrectly. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the fiction is just background noise for you because I don't know if you like science fiction in my opinion was not necessarily just some sort of not was it wasn't just something for somebody to watch. I feel like science fiction was ultimately like something to kind of just sort of motivate people to just sort of understand that this is what we could be. That's the story. The story was this is what we can be. This is our potential right here. You know what I'm saying? Because people weren't meant to fly, and yet now we have airplanes. You know what I mean? People weren't meant to like go places at a ridiculous amount of time. Now we have cars. Technology became a thing, and rather than sort of try to expand on what technology can do for us, we say AI is dangerous and it's Terminator is gonna kill us all, even though we've had AI for years already. AI has always existed. I'm just saying, it's just like it's wild to me, man. It's like we live in this like science fiction was. I feel like science fiction was supposed to be the thing that was supposed to like motivate a scientific revolution, and like people was like, nope, let's nip that in the bud right now. That's not happening. You know what I mean? Like I feel like fiction is just like ultimately people just basically saying, this is what we could do. Because to put this in perspective, we literally have the cell phone now, and our cell phone was a work of fiction at one point. So it's like I feel like if it doesn't, and not to say that it's a bad thing if you, I'm not to say that it's a bad thing for fiction to be background noise for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people just kind of need something to just sort of, people just need something to calm down the noise in their head or whatever. I get that, but the thing that's really kind of stressing me out is that like there's a message in all forms of fiction, and if you don't care about the fiction, if you don't care about the message, that is sometimes not as deep as you. It's like it's really not. It's really not that deep. Sometimes the message is pretty clear. It's really like right there. I think Fern Gully, there was a message in that. Like what was it? Fern Gully was pollution is bad. You know what I mean? Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Pollution is bad. Being a bad person is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Magic School Bus. Science is cool. Learn things. I mean, it's like Naruto was a political anime. Naruto was a political anime. Gundam Wing is a political anime. One Piece is a political anime. But if you don't care, but it's like if you're just watching it for the fights and the explosions and how cool everything sounds and looks and everything like that, then you're not gonna pay attention to that. But yeah, One Piece is a very political anime. You know what I mean? It's like there's people who are part of the One Piece fandom who's like, no, it isn't. It's just fights. I don't like that's what, and these people call themselves nerds. Um, I know I'm gonna probably man, I'm probably might lose some subscribers over this, and I don't even feel bad. I didn't have that many to start off with, so I don't care. But the fact of the matter is that like it's really kind of stressing me out that it's really kind of stressing me out that like fandoms have the capabilities of it's like if you don't like something, you could create something better. You have the capabilities and the possibilities to create something better, and now you have the tools to do it as well. And people would rather just say no, actually what I'm going to do is get angry at this thing that I'm partaking in for not doing what I wanted to do, even though I'm not even telling them how to do it. Like like what, like how are you, like if you have all this power, if you have like all of this energy to critique, you have all this energy to be a part of the industry, to write your own stuff, to it's like how do you have like how can you build essays and papers dedicated to reviews and then like not do anything on your own? You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't get it. I don't understand. Huh. This is supposed to be a review about Catwoman, and I just completely got off the rails. I like Catwoman. That was a good movie to me. And there's a lot of movies that people are going to tell me are terrible and bad and stuff like that. and I'm just gonna be like, I don't care. I like them. You're not gonna you like my whole thing is that like if I like something, you're not gonna convince me to unlike it just because you don't like it. But I will take your criticism to consideration. It just goes into room 9 and file 13. I don't know where I was going with this. Right wingers are not nerds. I don't understand why there are so many right wingers in our in the comic community and stuff like that. I don't know why they're there, but like if you're seeing something, it'll if you are seeing something big, if you're seeing a bigot like get put in their place in a comic book series and you're calling it woke now, you're the bad guy. Know that.